Larson a year ago watched the race from North Carolina. Today, he's a Cup Series champion.
Kyle Larson is one race away from shaking up NASCAR history. This weekend at Phoenix Raceway, he's not just gunning for a win, he's closing in on a record that could change how fans remember the sport forever. With one championship already behind him and momentum on his side, Larson's next move could redefine what greatness looks like in NASCAR. At just 33, Larson is already being talked about in the same breath as Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon, two legends he grew up idolizing. Stewart captured 3 Cup titles, 2002, 2005, and 2011, and Gordon took home 4, 1995, 1997, 1998, 1999, and 2001. Both drivers defined eras of NASCAR. Both now sit in the Hall of Fame, and both represent the high bar Larson is pushing himself to reach. I really looked up to Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon, and they're multi-time champions, Larson said during Championship 4 Media Day. So for me to win a second would get me closer to reaching. They are kind of my goals. I would like to get to them and hopefully surpass them someday. Larson's ascent hasn't been accidental. Since joining Hendrick Motorsports, his impact has been immediate, bringing fresh energy and a competitive edge that elevated the entire team. From building chemistry with his crew chief to adapting to a new environment, Larson showcased the adaptability and mental strength of champions. His relentless work ethic set the tone for excellence. His 2021 Cup Series title was dominant, with 10 wins in a single season, a feat unseen in over a decade. That championship came at Phoenix Raceway, a track that historically aligns with Larson's skill set. Yet despite his early dominance, the next-gen car introduced uncertainty. Hendrick Motorsports, while still formidable, struggled to unlock the same level of control on flat one-mile tracks like Phoenix. That's what makes this year different and potentially dangerous for the competition. I would say this is probably the best I've felt about what we're bringing for the Championship 4 compared to any other year, Larson revealed. Everyone at Hendrick Motorsports went to work on getting our flat short track program better. We went to Gateway St. Louis and were super strong. New Hampshire we were really good, and Phoenix is somewhat similar to those places. It was a summer tire test at Gateway that proved pivotal. Larson and crew chief Cliff Daniels were chosen as Chevrolet's test representatives. What they learned that day didn't just benefit them, it elevated the entire Hendrick Motorsports operation. The new setups they explored that weekend have since been adopted across all short track venues, yielding impressive results. Larson led 52 laps and finished 12th at Gateway, then followed that up with a 7th place run in New Hampshire. More importantly, the speed and control they demonstrated indicated a breakthrough in their package, one they believe will translate at Phoenix. We've kind of taken that setup to every short track since then, and the performance has definitely been better, Larson explained. It gives you confidence that it's probably going to work at Phoenix, but you don't know until you get on the track. So, just ready to get going. Confidence, however, doesn't mean complacency. Larson knows the stakes. A second title would not only validate his consistency, but also place him in an elite club of just 18 multi-time Cup Series champions. And while he might shy away from talking about legacy, his place in the sport's history is already cemented and growing. I don't really like to think about the legacy part of it, Larson admitted, but I've always looked up to Tony and Jeff. Just getting a second would mean I'm closer to them. The comparisons go deeper than wins. Like Stewart and Gordon, Larson cut his teeth in dirt racing before making the leap to stock cars. He remains deeply connected to that world, regularly competing in sprint car events and even co-owning the High Limit Racing Series. But that crossover has also drawn criticism. Some question his commitment to NASCAR, suggesting he cares more about dirt than asphalt. Larson has heard it all, and he's fed up. It's always bugged me that people assume I don't like NASCAR, he said. This is my 12th year. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't be here. I love racing, NASCAR, sprint cars, all of it. I love competing, I love the team aspect, I love the strategy. I get to compete at the highest level of American motorsports. What's there to hate about that? That fire, the same one that's fueled every great champion before him, still burns hot. And it's not just about titles. Larson currently sits at 32 Career Cup wins. Stewart ended his career with 49. Gordon's 93 is nearly untouchable, but Stewart's mark, that's within reach. As far as wins, I've always looked at Tony, Larson said. I'll never catch Jeff. But Tony, if I could get to that, I'd be pretty satisfied. And don't mistake his goals for arrogance. Larson is methodical, he's thinking long-term. He's also thinking about balance. At 33, he's already pondering the day he might step away. I told him I'm 33 right now and I can absolutely see myself racing till I'm 40, Larson shared. After that is kind of when I want to reevaluate. I could still go another 5 years, 7, 10, or stop then, but 40 is where my head is at before I can really think outside of that. Why 40? It's about family. Larson has 3 kids, Owen, Audrey, and Cooper, and he wants to be there for their next chapter. Owen will be 18, Audrey will be mid-teens, and Cooper will be about 10, Larson said. I think life is going to look completely different for them. I'm sure they'll be hopefully successful. If Owen is racing or Audrey is racing, whatever, they'll have a lot going on in their lives then. I would think right now I would want to be a part of that. But don't mistake that for distraction. Right now, Larson is all in. He's gunning for a second championship, backed by a reinvigorated Hendrick Motorsports, a proven crew chief, and a ton of momentum. Team President Jeff Andrews and Vice Chairman Jeff Gordon have expressed full confidence in Larson, crediting him for being the complete package, mentally sharp, physically prepared, and emotionally locked in. His crew chief, Cliff Daniels, agrees. The pair have built one of the strongest driver-crew chief relationships in the garage, and it's paying dividends at exactly the right time. And while his competitors are certainly capable, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and Christopher Bell are no pushovers. None have Larson's combination of experience, execution, and sheer will. Larson's aggressive yet calculated style makes him a danger on any track, but Phoenix, with its low banking and multiple racing grooves, plays directly into his strengths. He can run the top line, conserve tires, and pounce when it matters most. It's how he won in 2021, and it's how he plans to win again. More than just a title is on the line. If Larson pulls this off, he becomes the face of a new generation of NASCAR champions, versatile, fearless, and data-driven. He's redefining what dominance looks like in the modern era, and there's something poetic about doing it under the watchful eyes of Gordon, now his boss, and Stewart, one of his heroes. The torch isn't just being passed, it's being reimagined. No matter how Sunday plays out, Larson has already achieved what most drivers dream of. But for him, it's not about resting on past accomplishments. It's about pushing boundaries. Whether he's running a dirt sprint car on a Wednesday night or chasing Cup glory on a Sunday afternoon, one thing is clear. Kyle Larson is built differently. He's not just trying to make NASCAR history, he's rewriting it. And if he wins this weekend in Phoenix, there won't be any more doubts. He'll officially be in the conversation, not just as a great driver of this era, but as one of the greatest of all time.